I received a telephone call from Freddie's GP to say that he'd had no response from telephone calls and would I remind him to call, which I did. Subsequently got calls back saying I still haven't had a call from Freddie. So I pursued, and in the end I was told why the GP needed to speak to Freddie. And I felt my heart fall out of my boots.
I suppose anyone's immediate reaction is, oh my God, are you sure? Yes, I am sure, darling. I have the best doctor, the best of everything. And a natural reaction, I suppose, is to say, well, let's find somebody else. You know, and he then just said to me, he said, well, listen, the door's always open if you want to leave. And I suppose my reaction was, I just looked at him and said, listen, don't be so silly. I'm not going to walk out over something like this.
One of our visits, family visits, we were in his bedroom, just me and Roger, and he just told us.
I was in the kitchen on my own, and he came down from upstairs, and he just said, well, look, I've got something to tell you. He says, yeah, okay. He says, look, you know I'm sick, don't you? And I said, well, yeah, I've got a good idea. He says, you know what it is? I said, yeah. He says, well, that's it. You know, that's it. It's not going to be talked about anymore. We do not speak about it anymore.
And then at one point he decided to just sort of invited us all over to the house for a meeting. And he just sort of told us, you know, the absolute facts, the facts that we were really starting to realise anyway. And really that produced a coming together, a closing of the ranks.
The way he was telling me that, you know, I am a seropositive, he says, and I developed the illness. I says, but you are so strong, and you sing like you sing, and yes, I still can do it, he says, but it comes a moment no more, and I know that, and I want you to know, because it's my duty to tell you this. I says, no, it's not duty, but I am very thankful that you have told me, because that means I have your friendship, and this is most important as anything to me.
Everything had to be treated very normally. He had to be treated normally. And if you found that you were flagging, you were becoming too emotional, then you would have to, he would naturally, I think, push you back in line and bring forward who he felt that he could rely on for what he needed.
Because of his illness, he had it. So he, you know, as I say, he didn't need someone else to remind him all the time.
He used to love us and respect us so much that he didn't want to hurt us. And we knew all along and we didn't want to displease him because we loved him equally well, as much. But that was sad.
At first, I couldn't believe what he was telling me. Basically, it was just going above my head. It was only later in the months as he deteriorated that it started to sink in. But even then, I just kept on hoping he would come out of it.
We knew it in September, August, September, that he was really ill. And he was in Montreux. And always he used to be with us on my birthday. And this birthday, he sent me flowers from Montreux. I said, I'm sorry, Mom. This time I can't be with you on your birthday, but I'll make it up. But of course it was October, and then of course he was very ill. It was very sad at that time.
He would never dwell on things like that, because for him, life was incredible and had to be pursued the best way possible at all times. That's why he never stopped being creative. You know, he could have easily given up and, you know, disappeared somewhere and sort of lived the rest of his life in absolute isolation, but he did not do that. This is another example of how brave the man was. You know, he was out working until he could actually work no more.
One regret was that there was still music in him when he died, and it was there, it was in his brain, but because of the body, he wasn't able to produce it.
If he didn't have, for example, I mean, the music or anything like that, he wouldn't have lasted as long. He really wouldn't.
And still with that immense humour and that immense drive. You know, that's what people will never know that weren't around at the time. He still had that incredible commitment, and that incredible commitment to perfection.
At first I didn't believe it. No, it must be something else. It's a very hard thing to realise if it's somebody that's very close to you, I think.